Testing. Can everybody hear me? Okay, good morning. Thank you guys for coming out to see us this morning and to learn about occupational therapy and what occupational therapy can do for you here at Scotia Village. I know the news flash across the board has said occupational therapy with Amanda White. However, I am not going to be the one talking to you this morning. I am the rehab manager here. I've been here for 5.5 years now. But I'm going to let Cheyenne and Mila speak to you because they're the ones who know occupational therapy the best. Cheyenne is our OT and has been here for a little over 2 years with us now. Mila is an OT student with Cheyenne. She's been here for about 11 weeks with us. Next Friday will be her last day with us. She has already graduated, and when she leaves us on Friday, is eligible to sit for her boards to become an occupational therapist. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
I'm Mila, and this is Cheyenne, and this is our presentation on safely aging in place. And like she said, we are both occupational therapists. So does anybody in here know what occupational therapy is, to start off? Occupation therapy.
Anybody? Yeah, we do that.
Fine motor skills.
Do things that we normally do.
That's a good one. Okay, so this is just a little bit about occupation therapy. So occupation therapists are healthcare professionals who use occupation and meaningful activities with goals to help people of all ages prevent, lessen, and adapt to disabilities. So occupation therapists and assistants focus on things you want and you need to do for your day-to-day activities. The goal of occupation therapy is to improve skills that are needed to live life as independently as possible. So, a little bit about aging in place. Has anybody ever heard of aging in place? Okay. So, aging in place refers to a person in their golden years where they can live in the residence of their preference. The ability to live in one's home, community, safely, independent, and comfortable. So, occupation therapy's roles for that is that we assist families and residents in creating an environment that better meets your needs and abilities, while also helping seniors execute different activities of daily living. Occupation therapists can provide a wealth of support, valuable information when it comes to aging in place. And when we refer to activity of daily living, that's just things we do throughout the day. So, for example, bathing, dressing, eating, grooming. We also work on taking care of pets, going shopping, anything you do throughout the day that is considered an activity of daily living. So OTs can help making sure we're safely when we do those activities. So how occupation therapy can support aging in place is an occupation therapist can work one-on-one, making recommendations for changes around your home. OTs can help you learn new and more effective ways of performing a range of activities, such as dressing, grooming, bathing, cooking, whatever you want to do. We use adaptive technologies and strategies to help modify your individual abilities and needs. And this, in fact, can boost your confidence and help you maintain independence. Okay, and some of the benefits from occupation therapy is overcome the struggles of everyday life, prevent falls, memory rehabilitation, increase your confidence, home modifications, help with vision loss, life transitions, and then we also aid in caregiver education. And a little bit about this, so overcome the struggles of everyday life. This can be a wide range of things from, walking, putting on your clothes, things you struggle with. Occupation therapy can help you. With preventing falls, we can help you build those muscles. We can teach backwards chaining and exercise to help you prevent falls once they occur. Memory rehabilitation, we just don't work on physical abilities, we also work on cognitive abilities and helping with that memory loss and increase your confidence in all your activities. And home modifications, just things you can do in your home to make sure you are safe. And vision loss, just improving your vision. And life transition, we help as you age in different levels of care. And then caregiver aid, we could provide caregiver education and information for you and your spouse or anybody considered a caregiver. Anything you want to say?
So, as the occupational therapist here at Scotia, what makes us so special at Scotia is there's all levels of care, from independent assisted living down to healthcare and skilled nursing. And as your occupational therapist, what we try to do is help you to be more independent in that area. I know a lot of the times here at Scotia, when you're an independent, the fear is that nobody wants to go to healthcare. We don't want to go to healthcare. You want to be able to stay an independent or an assisted. But it's not a bad thing if you have to transition. However, what we want to do is help you to be safe and most importantly independent, where you don't have to transition. If you're in independent, we want to help you to stay there. If you're in assisted living, we want to help you to be able to stay there. And in skilled nursing, that don't mean you can't do anything at all. We want you to be as independent as possible, wherever you are, and safe. And also with memory rehab, that's not to down anybody's memory, because let me tell y'all, my memory's not the greatest. So what we can do is help y'all with strategies, creating strategies, working through your routines and your habits, and trying to help you to implement things to make you more independent and safer throughout the day.
And a little bit about making your home safer, just home modification. So reducing tripping hazards such as throw rugs. So a lot of time us women like to put rugs everywhere, but sometimes that can be a tripping hazard. So just making sure your rug is secure and it doesn't slide when you go by it. That's one way to make your home safer. Brighten your home with extra lighting or brighter light bulbs. Just extra light can go a long ways and helping you prevent falls. Install grab bars in your bathroom if you don't already have any. Bring items to counter level. So if you have things in your cabinets that's on the very top shelf and you can't reach it, or if you have items on the bottom shelf and it's hard for you to bend down and get it, bringing items to your counter level is really good home modifications to keep you safe as well. Installing handrails on both sides of your staircase, so just when you're walking up and down your stairs, it's easier to go in and out. Adaptive furniture or equipment to help remain more independent and safer. Motion sensor night lights, so if you have to get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, just those motion sensor lights are really helpful. Handheld shower heads, so the detachable shower heads can help you with bathing and preventing you from falling in the shower. Shower bench or chair bench beside the doors, so if you feel like you're tired or exhausted, just having an extra chair is good because that also will help you in the long run. And color and contrast, so if your home has a lot of white spaces and white everywhere, it's good to have a pop of color so you know the difference in, okay, this is my toilet, this is my counter, this is my bathtub, so just a little pop of color. And wheelchair and motorized scooters. So Scotia Village policy is that Scotia Village understands the need for individuals to use a motorized vehicle for mobility, but maintains responsibility to ensure the safety of our residents, visitors, and staff by ensuring that residents have motorized vehicles they can safely operate. So occupational therapy's roles for motorized scooters is that we have a lot of knowledge and wealth that we can help evaluate, modify, and recommend recommend wheelchairs and seating systems that allow residents to achieve optimal positionings, increase comfort, independence, and quality of life. Wheelchair and scooter training, we can do that. And we just know a lot about cushions and different types of wheelchairs, so occupational therapists can help with that too.
So another thing with the motorized scooters and wheelchairs, we plan to, in the future, have an in-service with the Amanda White. And that'll be important for everybody. So not just those who is driving the motorized vehicles, but also us who's around walking, because that's a way to keep everybody safe. And I'm pretty sure our ladies in here who have gone through the wheelchair training can let you know there's a lot more to it than just driving the chair. And it's things that we don't think about when we're just up walking. So it'll be helpful for us all to know about it. So just keep your eye out for it. It'll be posted sometime.
And when is occupation therapy needed? So occupation therapists work with our residents to teach them exercises and rehabilitation techniques to make your day-to-day activities easier. So such as those dressing, bathing, social activities, we try and make all those easier and independent for you. Occupation therapists can also work on your fine and basic motor skills, your strength, dexterity, and your range of motion of your joints. So anybody who has noticed a decline in your overall function, general movements, can benefit from occupation therapists. An introduction of an occupation therapy program can make a huge difference in relieving and managing those symptoms. And if you have any of these current concerns, OT may be your next appointment that you need to schedule.
So does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Let me get the,
Is the policy of getting these services?
did everybody hear? Okay, she says, what's the policy in getting these services? So I'm gonna let my manager take over that one.
So, to get any of the therapy services here, we have to have a doctor's order. Now, for some of you, most of those come from your primary care. For some of you, go to ortho and places like that that'll give you orders for us. So, Kathy Williams, our IL nurse, which I know you are all familiar with, is also important in that, because say you feel like you need occupational therapy, but you know you don't have a doctor's visit coming up soon. She is helpful in reaching out to those doctors. Sometimes the doctors will say, yes, we agree, let's do this, and give us an order. Sometimes they will want to see you. So it could go either way. The other thing is that the physicians here, I don't know how many of you have signed on with our physicians here, but they are always agreeable to give orders for us to see you in any of our therapies. Yep. So when you do, what happens is when we get the order, usually Kathy gets it first if it's faxed. Sometimes people bring them straight to me and I share them with Miss Kathy. We reach out, we verify insurance from our home office here, from Kenya and billing. And then I contact you to make an appointment for your evaluation.
So the cost is through the insurance?
The cost is through your insurance. Good question. So it depends on what insurance you have. For a lot of folks, managed care is big in our community. Managed care typically does come with a copay, co-insurance type of situation. It's different for everybody. So I would highly suggest you reach out to your insurance to just see what is my responsibility here. I can help you with that if you want me to. If you'd rather do it, that's fine. I'm gung-ho for either way. I have done both. But good question, Ms. Doris. Anybody else? Somebody else. Okay. Oh, good question, therapist. So for most of you, you probably don't see us quite as often because we are down in healthcare. So we are on the complete opposite side of the building. We have I have flyers back here. So there's information there, but each of you should have gotten a magnet in your mailbox within the last few months. If not, we can get you one, but that has our information. Typically, the number to get in touch with us is just the regular number here, 277-2000. And then you just tell them you want to speak to therapy and they'll transfer you to us. Or you can come and see us if you want to walk that far. We always love to see you guys on that end, so feel free to walk down there and see us.
I have found over the years that just going down to PT and talking to Amanda or somebody else who's there to say, I'm reaching this point. Do you think I need to see a doctor about it? Do you think I need a knee brace or whatever? And they are so helpful in guiding me to what I need.
Well, thank you.
Very helpful.
Thank you. That's a good point too, in what she's saying. A lot of times we find that people wait until something has bothered them so long and it's become more of a problem that we could have kind of prevented. So in the forefront of things, you want to be as preventive as possible. So don't, if something's bothering you, if a normal everyday activity that you've been doing 30 years starts to bother you and you have questions, come talk to us. It may be something very simple. It may be something that we are like, you probably need to see your doctor. You need to have that checked out, but we'll be glad to talk to you about any of those things. And that's, we do offer physical, occupational, and speech therapy. So that's in any of those realms. Anything that's bothering you that you have questions about, we'd be glad to talk to you about.
Can I share this? I have a lot of experience with these girls.
Is this better? Okay, Neil was a PT that was with us my first year and a half here. He was from the Philippines originally, but had ties to Hickory. So everybody loved Neil. That's why a lot of these who have been with us for a while knew Neil from being here with us. But he's a father. He's a father. Great. Thank you. Yes.
Can you introduce your other therapist?
I can. Yes, because we do have, for a while we did have a lot of changes, but we do have a lot of new full-time staff. So yes, come on. Alexis is our speech therapist full-time. Eunice is our PT full-time. Both of these ladies came to us in February full-time. You want to stand up? Yes, you. Jessie is a speech student here with us, so she also ends next week. She does have a little more school to go through, but she graduates in May of next year, so she'll be able to become a speech therapist. Jennifer is our restorative nursing aide. And for those of you that don't know what restorative nursing is, it's a continuation of therapy basically for our folks in healthcare specifically when they come off of therapy and they're staying here long term with us. We try to keep up what they've gained. So restorative takes over and they go through those programs with them so that they don't lose what they've gained during their therapy time. Heather is a travel coda. She is my only traveler right now. So she's an occupational therapy assistant. So she will be here with us temporarily. But, and then Tammy is our full-time PTA. So her and I do the same thing as far as our trade. We're physical therapist assistants. Tammy has been with us for a little over 3 years now. And that's your, we did have Greg, and Greg is, you guys know all of my therapists from the past. Greg has actually just finished his rotation down in Florida and is on the way to the West Coast. He is. They're going to out west to travel the national parks. Yes, it is. It is. Prior to COVID, we did try to do an in-service for those who might have been thinking about scooters, who had scooters, because it's supposed to be a yearly thing, just a kind of a reminder. And we do want to get back to doing that. So in the coming couple of months, just be on the lookout. I will do another in-service about, a lot of people don't even realize, but Scotia does have their own policy for power mobility. So it's pretty in-depth and and goes through, the things that they check off. So how that works, and I'll tell more about that when I do this in-service, is typically when you get a scooter, or when you're thinking about getting a scooter, the doctor signs off that physically you're able to do that. There's no reason you couldn't physically drive a scooter. And then they refer you to therapy. We go through the training with you. For some, that may be 2 or 3 times. For others, that may be, 2 or 3 weeks. We want to make sure you're safe with it. After we've done the training, we turn in to Myra. We let Myra know, hey, we've turned them loose. You're going to see them in the community. About 2 weeks later, she's going to come out and she's going to go through that checklist of things that you're supposed to be doing by Scotia policy. So she's going to make sure behind us that you are following those rules and that you're doing the things you're supposed to do. So yes, that is not typically. They vary. It depends on what you're looking at. The scooters are a little bit cheaper. It depends on what you get. Yeah, so it depends. I've seen scooters as low as about 800 and up. The power wheelchairs with the joystick, those are going to cost you a little more. I think the typical one that Mabry's carries here locally in Laurinburg is about $2,500. So those are a little more pricey, and it just depends. Some people, the scooter, of course, is more like a car, like what we're used to, whereas the joystick takes a little bit of getting used to, but turns on a dime and is a little bit easier to navigate for some folks, especially if you need to get under tables and you can't really, if you're going to use it on a more consistent basis, basically, if you're going to pull up to the table to eat lunch and stay in your scooter or your wheelchair versus somebody in a scooter who would get off of it, get in the chair at the table and eat and then get back on their scooter. So, and we can always help you decide that too. We can talk through, what are you needing it for? What are your plans and all that, and try to help you figure out. I have a couple of places that I specifically tell people to look at, and I could give you guys that information. But again, we'll talk about that. We will do a whole session on that so that everybody's aware of the policy and can get the information that they need for those scooters.
If I want occupational therapy, do I have to come to y'all or will y'all come to me?
Good question. We can do both. So that's one of the luxuries of being here at Scotia, is that you can come to us or we can come to you. A lot of times, specifically with occupational therapy, because they look at home modifications and they're looking at things you would do in your home, they're going to come to you at least the first couple of times. Now, for somebody who is more specific, we do have people who, say, have shoulder surgery, and that's specifically what they're coming to us for. The first little while, you're probably going to want to come to us so we can get you on the mat table, work out that shoulder, and then as that progresses, if we need to do further training, say if you're like Miss Sass, you're still having trouble cutting things up, if there's things we need to come into the home to do, we can also do that. So you have us pretty much where you want us here. I mean, it could be either. We also have people meet us down in the IL gym, and we go over routines down there that would help folks. So we are mobile here. We are over there, over here, wherever you need us, basically.
People with the road walkers, do you have any in-service for them? Or how does anyone get a road walker?
A rollator, they would come through us. I don't do an in-service about that specifically, but therapy, you would come to physical therapy for that. We can help you determine what walker is safest for you. You would get an order, we would look at that, we would go through all the therapy things, and then we would determine what's safest.
If you get a note from your doctor, Medicare will pay for the rolling.
Some of them, yep. Sometimes it depends. There's some stipulations thrown in there, but we have ways of figuring that out. So yes, yes, we have folks down there that can get on and look into the system to see if things have been ordered. Usually they'll pay for things. If they've bought a wheelchair within a certain amount of time, they are not going to buy a walker, things like that. So there are some stipulations, but yes, Medicare will help with walkers and wheelchairs, usually regular wheelchairs, not motorized.
In your wheelchairs, you have those residents, don't you?
We have wheelchairs in skilled. We do. And I do know that out here in Independent, there's a closet that they have for things that need to be borrowed, and we sometimes share things down here as well. So yes, we do. We have equipment. And anytime, you guys, if you are looking for something that you can't find, you just need it temporarily, always ask us, because a lot of times people have donated things to us and we just have it sitting there. So anybody else? All right. Thank you guys for coming, and I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys learned something about occupational therapy. There's some chocolates back there. There's some goodies on that table, and I think Cheyenne has given out some brochures.